Hey, good morning, congregation, and welcome to the Church of Call It What It Is. In today's Round 8, we're going to take popular passages and concepts from biblical scripture, unpack them, and then call them what they really are. Through the lens, of course, of emotional repression work. So, if you're a Christian and you're not interested in deprogramming and resolving emotional repression, I would probably turn this off right now. Okay, you've been warned. Passage 1 comes to us from the book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 10 to be exact, and it says, "The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom." This, of course, implies that a healthy fear and reverence for the divine authority, God and his representatives on earth, is the beginning of clarity and the ability to make wise choices. But if we're doing emotional repression work and beginning to call things what they are, here's how we might reword that passage. The fear of God, or any authority really, is the end of wisdom, or the beginning, frankly, of stupidity. Why? Because fear of authority, which originally for most of us meant our caregivers, is what creates emotional repression and suffering. I'm afraid they're not going to love me or keep me safe if I say or do something wrong, so I'm going to push down my emotions to get their love and protection. Which of course creates depression, anxiety, addiction, chronic pain, and a slew of other mental health diagnoses. So another more accurate reinterpretation could be the fear of God is the beginning of suffering. Next up, the concept of sin. Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God." The Bible, of course, defines sin as any transgression against God's law, which encompasses a wide range of rules and commandments. But more importantly, sin separates us from the Lord. Apparently he gets upset or his feelings hurt when we do things that he doesn't like. But aren't we overcomplicating things a little bit? We're not suffering because we're sinful, because we've done something wrong, because we're upsetting or separate from some God. We're suffering because we got buried, repressed emotions in our bodies. So let's do a little re-edit on that verse and call what's happening what's really happening. For most all of us have been conditioned into emotional repression and have fallen short of the ability to feel and express what's true for us. Sin's not some mystical state of mysterious spiritual darkness. If we're going to call it what it is, it's an addiction to suffering that's produced by burying and repressing childhood emotions and believing stuff on top of it. So technically, believing in sin or believing in anything is a sin. And speaking of sin, let's see what the manual says about calling it out in others. In Luke chapter 17, verse 3, the author writes, "If your brother sins, rebuke him, and if he repents, forgive him." How nice. And codependent, if we're calling it what it is. When emotionally repressed people who believe in right, wrong, good, bad, etc. try to call out other emotionally repressed people for doing things right, wrong, good, bad, etc., that's called needism. And it's a form of codependency wherein we're trying to get our needs for love and safety met that we never got met in childhood by following, breaking, and upholding rules. Life in emotional repression looks like rules because emotional repression itself is rules. So let's hear the new verse. If your brother's operating from emotional repression and you feel the need to correct or change him or call him out, do your own emotional repression work to the point where you don't feel like that anymore. Because that's what happens when you do emotional repression work, you start minding your own business. And lastly but not leastly, let's turn to Ephesians 5:22 that says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as you would to the Lord." The message here is pretty clear, so ladies, take heed. Or we can call it what it was and is on the part of the men who wrote, follow, promulgate, and enforce this scripture. Fear of women. That's witch burning energy. So, I hope you've enjoyed the service today. And now, after you tap the link in the caption of the bio if you'd like to start doing some emotional repression work, let us bow our heads and pray.